Hello and welcome to my Retro Media Room. Today I wanted to revive an old segment that I'm going to now call Is It a Winner or a Stinker? Where I take a game from my library, pop it in, check it out, and give you my honest thoughts, opinions, and early impressions of the game just by merely playing its early segments of the game to find out whether or not it's a game that I sincerely want to keep playing and I like it, or a game I'm not so crazy about and I want to put it back on the shelf. If you like this sort of content, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to keep up with my latest videos. Please hit the like button to help me with the algorithm. Share it with your friends, especially people that want to see what these games are about, if they're any good or worth playing. So Die Hard Vendetta on the GameCube. Is it a winner or a stinker? Let's find out. So Die Hard Vendetta was developed by Bit Studios and released by Sierra in November 2002 on the GameCube. For the longest time, I honestly thought that it was a GameCube exclusive. What I didn't realize was that in June of 2003, the following year, it was released on PlayStation 2 and Xbox. I've never played those versions of the game. I know nothing about them. I've never even seen them in person, so I can't speak on them. This is only going to be regarding the GameCube version. To be honest, I would imagine the Xbox version is a little better. I played this once many years ago. I don't remember hating it, but I also don't remember loving it either. So I figured this is an opportunity for me to just go ahead and give it another shot, fire it up, and see what I honestly think. From a video game and film historical perspective, this is actually quite interesting. Since this came out 5 years before Live Free Die Hard, which was Die Hard 4, this pretty much acted as a Die Hard 4 until then, since this takes place 5 years after Die Hard with a Vengeance, which was Die Hard 3. Now, obviously, this is not meant to be canon, but that's what this did. So for 5 years there, this was unofficially the Die Hard 4 of its time. Even to the point that Reginald VelJohnson reprised his role as Al in the game. Now, he's the only one that did, but that's actually pretty fun. Otherwise, everybody else are sound-alikes, from John McClane to Richard, the sleazy reporter, and Hans Gruber's son, which was not in the films, but he does his best Alan Rickman impression. So the setup is clearly some fan service, almost fan fiction, you could say, of what a Die Hard 4 could have looked like other than what we eventually got. So in that regard, this is all fun and interesting. Graphically, this game is serviceable. Progressive scan helps it look pretty clean. The textures and detail are, well, serviceable. The game looks decent. Frame rate's pretty spotty. The GameCube has certainly done much better. Then there's the gameplay. So right away, my first thought was, oh, they're clearly fans of Half-Life. This kind of has a little bit of Half-Life vibes to it. Those thoughts quickly stopped. This tutorial is one of the worst tutorials I've ever experienced in a game, ever. The manual aiming in this game is drifty and weird. The guns and animations are serviceable. That's about the nicest way I can put it. But where I was challenged to even keep playing just to get the footage to make this video was getting through the stealth segment of this tutorial. I was about to lose my mind. Every other time you go back to the starting point to start over again, trying to not be seen by the guards, and each and every time you hear,
"It's important to always scout out the area before making a move."
I see you, McClane.
"You've been spotted, John. Come back to the start."
again,
I see you.
"You've been spotted, John. Come back to the start."
and again,
I see you, McClane.
"You've been spotted, John. Come back to the start."
and again.
"You've been spotted, John. Come back to the start."
I think I'm going to be dreaming about this line. The only way you barely make it through it is if you absolutely memorize every step the AI takes in their patterns. Out of the 3 guards that are guarding this tutorial area, the third one felt nearly impossible to get past. You can't see him. You have a very small window of time to get through before he sees you. And what also rears its ugly head is the weird broken movement. So when you're standing, it seems like, oh, well, the strafing is not unrealistic. You know, it feels kind of sluggish because, well, you're going to do that in real life. But when you crouch, which is going to be harder to strafe in actuality, you strafe really fast. And in some cases, when you run forward, you lurch forward really quickly. So when you're crouching or standing up and you're moving around, trying to go around corners and sneak around, you're either moving sluggish and terrible or you're taking off like a rocket. I think they literally reversed what they meant to do. I think they meant to have the strafing speed of the crouching and the standing and vice versa. It feels absolutely broken. So add that on top of the fact that if the AI even thinks it's looking in your direction, they detect you. I was honestly dumbfounded. This part rattled me. to the point where I just started taking it on to everybody. Oh, God, yeah, you took that. Yeah, you see me now? I got you now. Yeah. So yeah, I was not happy. It was really painful getting through this. So needless to say, the urge to rage quit was high with this one. And even if you get through the tutorial rather quickly, it takes so long to get through it. Rage quit comments. I don't want to play this anymore. Once you get to the actual levels in this, it doesn't improve a whole lot, unfortunately. Thanks to the auto aim, the gunplay feels okay, but right away you can't tell though because the revolvers are terrible. It isn't until you get the Beretta 9mm pistols and this SMG that it's like, oh, it actually feels kind of alright. Some of the biggest and most glaring issues with the game are the scripting and NPC interactions. It's really frustrating because the only way you can interact with NPCs, get through entire conversations, and initiate the next scene and know what's going on is if you walk up to them, manually initiate the conversation, and manually go through each and every exchange within the conversation until it's over. So you're mashing the action button just to get through conversations, to figure out what's going on and how to get to the next part, and initiates the next script. So it's really annoying and frustrating because what you end up doing is when you don't know where to go, you don't know what's happening, and it seems like everything's come to a screeching halt because you're trying to figure out where to go next based on the scripting within the engine. You're just going up to every NPC you can find and trying to talk to them and figure out who's the NPC I need to talk to get the next part going. So I ended up running around in circles for 10, 15 minutes trying to figure out how to end this mission when it came down to one NPC that I didn't walk up to and talk to and mash the action button to get to the conversation to figure out where to go next. Ended up being some hole in the wall I couldn't see. And on top of that, when it came to the scripting, is the game is leading you in one direction saying, hey, talk to this character. Hey, go investigate this, investigate that, kill these guys. And then meanwhile, if I don't rush down the street and take out these targets as fast as possible, the game gives you a failure prompt and mission over, and you have to try again and start from the beginning because you weren't quick enough to kill the enemies before they get the cops that you have to save. So the scripting can be really stringent and annoying to where if you don't know exactly what to do and how quickly to do it, you're going to keep failing and retrying. That is not fun. That is not well done. So for every one or two decent things about this game, there's 4 or 5 frustrating things that hinder it. This is not a game that I could recommend to anybody. If you're the diehest of diehard fan, it's an interesting piece. I'm glad I have it, especially since I only paid like $10, $15 for it brand new. It's a GameCube game, which you can never find now. But is this a game that I would continue playing? Is this a winner or is this a stinker? This is a stinker. I will not continue playing this unless it's out of absolute everybody begging me to continue playing it to the point of beating it for comedic points. Otherwise, I have no interest in continuing to play this game. It was frustrating. I wanted to quit playing during the tutorial, but for the sake of the audience and the video, I made it through a couple more missions to get a feel for the game so I could give an honest assessment. And no, this game was not great. I'm not a fan of it, but I am kind of a fan of its packaging though. So we got the back here. Everything going on here. It's actually got quite a bit of weight to it because this has a lot of paperwork in it. So you got the booklet and you have a Prima guide, of course, the Nintendo Book of Information. So I always like it when physical media has weight to it. And even though this is not a great game, I appreciate the fact that it's a nice, hefty piece of physical media. I'm glad it's in my collection, but it is a stinker. If you want more content like this, where I take individual games and give you my honest opinion, early impressions of whether or not it's a winner or stinker, please let me know, and I'll continue doing these of obscure games, well-known games, whatever. Maybe in the future, I could start running polls and things like that to see what game you want me to cover next, pick out a 3 or 5 or something like that. Let me know in the comments if that's what you want to see. If I get enough traction for it, I might do it in the future. So if you could do me a favor and please hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Please like the video to help me with the algorithm. I really appreciate you watching up to this point. God bless and have a wonderful day.